friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taddy. I'm an astrologer and I make videos on astrology, self-growth, self-care, self-love. So if that interests you, please continue watching, please subscribe. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about your Mercury sign, and I'm going to go through all the signs and we're going to just get more information of what this means for you if you have a certain sign such as Mercury and Aries, Mercury and Pisces, etc. So please continue watching, and if you don't know what your Mercury sign is, it is your thinking and communication, and that is what Mercury represents. Let's get right into it. Let's start with Mercury and Aries. So this is really interesting. I want to give a bit of personal antidotes to this placement. I know quite a few people with Mercury and Aries, and it's been very interesting to see how this kind of shows up in their life. So Mercury and Aries people, they love to get very passionate about certain topics. They are leaders. They're natural born leaders in terms of commanding a room and knowing how to command the room with your voice. So with Mercury and Aries, people with this placement can sometimes tend to interrupt people because they get so excited and they want to just share. They want to really absorb the energy of the room, and they're really, really good at riling people up in a great way. I love this about them. I love that they are so passionate about topics. They're so passionate about just anything that they're interested in. If they're not interested, if they're not about something, it doesn't matter to them. They're not going to act the same way. They're not going to communicate in the same way. And what Mercury and Aries people have to learn is to signal and give space for more people to speak. But I want to say that I really, really appreciate the Mercury and Aries people in my life because they really fight for you. Like if you're walking down the street and something happens to you, they will shout out after a person of what did that person just do to you? Did they trip you? And they will react. So they have to be careful of reactions, but I kind of love how protective they are. They're very honest. They're very direct. When they get ideas, they just get them so quickly. So they have to learn to write down their ideas right away because sometimes they could fade. It could, they'll forget about it. They can be distracted and they want to go to the next thing that excites them. So they have to really learn how to keep a list of all their ideas because they have really amazing ideas and they need to just cultivate this and have it within a space so that they can always refer back to that. So moving on to Mercury and Taurus. Mercury and Taurus people, they're a bit more slow paced. They want to go a bit more in terms of the daily routine. They love their daily routine. They prioritize that. They are focused on that. That's what they're mentally thinking about. That's what they want to talk about. Often because Taurus is ruled by Venus, they want to talk about very beautiful topics. They want to talk about new environments, or they want to talk about art or finance or something very stable and grounded, and this kind of relaxes them, which is really, really nice. And they just have such a amazing, I would say a lot of Mercury and Taurus people have really nice soothing voices. They might be very smooth in a way, and they will definitely let you speak first. They could be a bit stubborn in their thinking sometimes, so you kind of have to, of course, pay attention to all aspects to a placement, but I think it's understanding how to take note of other people's opinions because they will be kind of rigid in their thinking and they might be very one-sided in some cases, so it might take them some time to warm up to a new idea. It might take them some time to warm up to a new thing to put into their routine. So give them time if you know someone with Mercury and Taurus, and ease into things. Do not quickly change topics. They'll be a little bit like, what's happening? And they might get a bit annoyed by that. But I think what I love about Mercury and Taurus is that they're so grounding, they're so stable, and they are someone who will communicate and be like, hey, can we meet at this time? Can we meet at this date? They'll be they lead with integrity. And I love this about them because they know that everything fits into a schedule and they want to be honest about this. They want to be direct about this, but they do it in a way where it's very comfortable and they want things planned out. So people. I don't know too many Mercury and Taurus people, but I love the stability of Taurus placements, the access to art. Like if you show a Mercury and Taurus person art pieces, they'll be like, oh my god, this is so moving, this is so beautiful, and they might want to start a conversation about it and what they thought of it during their daily routine. So that's what I love about Mercury and Taurus people. Let me know if you have this placement. Let me know if you resonate with this. Moving on to Mercury and Gemini. So if you have this placement, you are very quick-witted, you might be really funny, you want to absorb so many different ideas. Mercury and Gemini people are able to really think of ideas quickly, and this is a major asset. Mercury loves being in the sign of Gemini, but I want to say that the downfall for this placement sometimes is that they can absorb so many different ideas that they lose track and they can't go as in depth as they would like to sometimes. So they have to really focus on how to connect all these ideas together and how to go more in depth into a certain topic, because they're so good at generating ideas. I love how their mind works in this way. They can get very, very excited. They want to start a conversation with everyone about everything, and they might also really resonate talking to people in their local neighborhoods, or they want to just start a casual conversation, maybe chit chat, small talk. They actually really enjoy that because they like banter. They want to be flirty in that way sometimes, and they enjoy just wordplay. And I love this about them. I love this about this placement. It honestly is a very interesting placement for myself as someone with Mercury and Virgo. I really, really appreciate this about Mercury and Gemini people because they inspire me to really generate and brainstorm ideas. So if that resonates with you, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know like if you have certain aspects to this placement. I go really in depth in my birth chart readings. If you feel like there's certain aspects to your Mercury that you want to go more in depth, you can check out the link down below. And moving on to Mercury and Cancer. So Mercury and Cancer people, they're very soft spoken. They might be, they're very cozy. I really love how calming Mercury and Cancer people are. They might be a bit more soft spoken. They'll let other people speak first. They can really tend to focus on home matters. They really want to beautify their home in some way, or they might just focus on like ideas around the home. So maybe they get their best ideas around the home, or maybe they really want to communicate certain things to their family and they have that as a good focus. I love that Mercury and Cancer people want to help others understand what is the idea of home, and they're still very, I want to say, philosophical about this because home can be anywhere. So it's more about Mercury and Cancer people learning how to help others in this way. And what Mercury and Cancer people could struggle with is that they can ruminate a lot, or they could maybe possibly be stuck in the past a lot. So they kind of have to break themselves out of that and really stay present. So when they're able to stay present and ground themselves, they'll feel so much better. And they can be very nostalgic. I really love their nostalgia because they can really be very creative and artistic in this way, or how to use the sounds of nostalgia and kind of incorporate it into maybe their music if they write music, or maybe just how to communicate with people in a very loving and soothing way, because they know that that's actually the best way to get people to do things, is in a very loving, patient way. So they're very, very smart about this. I want to say that. So they're very smart because they know that, you know, you get more bees with honey, or sorry, you get more flies with honey. And I really see that for Mercury and Cancer people. So let me know if that resonates for you, if you have Mercury and Cancer. Moving on to Mercury in Leo. I love this placement. I think this is a very exciting placement. Mercury and Leo people, for myself, they keep me inspired. They're very motivational. They're very inspirational. They can be very loud sometimes, but I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that energy. They might want to perform in some way. So maybe that's with their voice, maybe that's public speaking, maybe that is even like, you know, to a group of friends. It doesn't really matter if it's like what sphere it's in, but they really enjoy performance. Maybe they just enjoy watching movies or creative movies. Maybe they enjoy making art. And they're just very creative and very community based. They really think about their friends, they really prioritize their friends, and they really try to find ways to make people feel love and seen and heard in a space, because they just want to uplift people. They're very uplifting. The only thing to be careful of with Mercury and Leo is to make sure they don't focus on their own ego. Case of like, am I doing this? Am I thinking this way because of my ego? Because Mercury is our thinking and communication, or is my ego bruised and am I reacting to this? So that's the only thing to be careful of with this placement. But to be honest, a healthy ego is a great thing, and we all need ego. We all need our ego. So it's just about regulating that in terms of our thinking and communication for Mercury and Leo. So let me know in the comments if that resonates with you. Let me know what your favorite part of Mercury and Leo is. I definitely think it's the uplifting those around you, especially your friends, because that is such a beautiful, loving trait with Mercury and Leo. And I want to say that they're very warm. They're very warm in terms of their communication. They're very warm in terms of just seeing people in this way, in terms of communicating and chatting with people and catching up with people. They're the ones to send out party invites, right? They enjoy a good party. They want to talk about what is exciting, what is interesting, what is different. They want to talk about personality and your sense of self a lot, which is really, really interesting. So it makes sense. So yeah, let me know if that resonates for you, if you have Mercury and Leo. Moving on to Mercury and Virgo. So I have this placement, but retrograde. And I would want to say that Mercury and Virgo people, they are very analytical. They can be a bit judgmental sometimes, and especially towards themselves. So they have to recognize, okay, wait, am I overjudging myself? When they're younger, that could be a response, right? That's just a response that they've gotten before. Maybe they were taught to be this way younger, so that's where that reaction comes from. So they have to learn how to release any judgment, especially towards themselves and of course others, but especially towards themselves, because they could be very critical. They can be very hard on themselves in this way, but they are so good at getting a lot of facts. They're really good at making lists. They're really good at getting the ball rolling, taking action in terms of communication. If they know they want to plan something out for the next week, they will do it. If they know they want to plan something out for the next month, they will do it. They're very good with that follow through of, let's stick with a plan, let's do this. Like they really enjoy checking things off their to-do list, right? This is really great. And they really like talking about topics towards their health. Maybe they're just very analytical in terms of, can things be done in a more efficient way? They like talking about, how can this be done in a more efficient way? How can I do this in a very organizational way? Like, I remember when I used to write essays, I really got so many sources from so many places, and it was an art to me to put these ideas together. And that's where Mercury and Virgo shines. They really shine when they are able to take very complex ideas. They go very in depth in terms of the ideas that they think of, and then they want to connect everything together to be very helpful. They're very helpful people. Virgo wants to serve. Virgo wants to help others so much. And when you have Mercury and Virgo, that's a lot of your thinking and communication in terms of serving others. So Mercury and Virgo people need to learn how to, fill their own cup first before they can help others. But I love this placement. Mercury loves being in the sign of Virgo. So it's a very, very nice placement in this way. If you want me to do a retrograde video, let me know in the comments down below because I'm happy to do that. I hope this resonates. Let me know if it did in the comments below and which video you'd like to see next. Moving on to Mercury in Libra. So Mercury in Libra is very justice-based. It's very fair. It's very just. It really wants to see both sides of things, right? Mercury in Libra people want to not put all their eggs in one basket. They want to really weigh out their options. That's why a lot of people might say, okay, they want to see all their options before making a decision, which is completely fair and valid. They can be a bit slower to make a decision, which is totally fair. And they could take some time. They're very kind, they're very considerate, they're very peaceful. Libra is ruled by Venus, so it's a very beautiful placement. Mercury and Libra people could have very soothing voices, they can be very calming, and they want to talk to a partner in some form, maybe business partner or romantic partner, in terms of getting their ideas, because having that mirror to them is very, very important. They want to have other people there to be accountable. They want to have other people there so that they can really push forward with their work and their ideas, because it just makes things more interesting for them and they get a better sense of where they're at in terms of their thinking. They want to see all perspectives. They're very good at that. They're very good at seeing the big picture. So I love this about Mercury and Libra. The only thing is they can be so soft-spoken that sometimes they're not completely honest about what they feel, because sometimes they don't know, they can't access it. They're seeing so many different sides that it can be difficult for them to really access, okay, how do I actually feel? Because I'm thinking so many different things, and that's where there could be a little bit confusion. But to be honest, Mercury and Libra people, I really admire them because they're very just and they can really be focused on what is fair to that person, what is fair for me, what is fair for everyone. They're really good at trying to come up with a win-win situation. So that's who I want as my lawyer, is someone with Mercury and Libra, and someone who wants to really, really make things fair. So let me know if that resonates if you have Mercury in Libra. Moving on to Mercury and Scorpio. So if you have Mercury and Scorpio, you can be kind of secretive. You can be a bit more, I want to say nonchalant. I don't know if that's the right word, but you can be very secretive in terms of your emotions, in terms of your private life. You don't want to share too much information with other people. You could really want to go really, really in depth into a topic when you're interested in it. Mercury and Scorpio people really fascinate me. They want to explore the depths of, death, transformation, rebirth, growth. They really want to explore more taboo topics in terms of conversations because that's what interests them. So that's what they want to really, really explore. And I love that about them. I think that's a really, really fascinating conversation for myself with Mercury and Virgo. And Mercury and Scorpio people, they have to be careful of, they think it's honest by not sharing everything, but they need to start sharing more information like closer when they start to get to know someone. It's normal to not want to share everything right away to someone. Do not overload them with things, but Mercury and Scorpio people can leave a lot of details out of a conversation, which really make a situation, right? So that's the only thing that they should be wary of, is that they leave so much information out that they're not being fully honest with another person if they're asking a question, because they might say, okay, they're not asking me exactly this, so I'm only going to give them the small little bit of, like, a bit of a breadcrumb in a sense. But I love Mercury and Scorpio people because they're so fascinating to me just to have a conversation with them. They go very in depth, they're very intense in terms of their conversations. They really love to dive in deep, they love depth, they love growth, they love just connecting with someone with intensity through conversation. and this is beautiful to them. This is something that really helps them evolve. They like talking about dark things. They like talking about, hey, where's the beauty in this darkness? Mercury and Scorpio people kind of just take in so much around them. They just absorb everyone's, like, all this information, just energy, the conversation. So they don't really speak first. They let others speak and they let others share what they need to share, and then they'll speak. It's more so a process of letting the other person speak first and learning so much and seeing how much they're willing to share. And that's then a good access point for someone with Mercury and Scorpio to be like, okay, I think I'm okay to share a bit now. I'll give them a little bit, but they are gonna be waiting on someone else to kind of share more before they get vulnerable, because they want to protect, they kind of want to protect that sometimes. So they have to be okay with sharing more information slowly. So yeah, I hope this helps. Let me know if that resonates with you, if you have Mercury and Scorpio, and if you want to go really in depth in a birth chart reading with me, the link is down below. Moving on to Mercury in Sagittarius. Mercury and Sagittarius people are so exciting to me. They think of so many philosophical ideas. They're very good presenters. They're really good at commanding a room in a very story-based way. They're very good storytellers. Mercury and Sagittarius people, they really know how to excite you. They really know how to keep you captivated. You will go through a story like you would not expect with a Mercury and Sagittarius person. You're like, how did I get into this topic? How do I understand this? And I love that so much about Mercury and Sagittarius people. They're so good at story-based communication. The only thing with Mercury and Sagittarius people is that they can be very blunt, they can be super honest, and it can be a bit hurtful sometimes. So they kind of have to watch out for that. They can be just so direct and honest that you're like, I did not expect that. And they're very funny. They're very funny. They're very witty. They are just really, really good at learning a lot of different topics, learning about travel, learning about different cultures. And that's what I love about Mercury and Sagittarius people. They're so good at this. They're so good at absorbing so much information from other sources. They're also really good at teaching. They're very good at teaching through stories. And I love this quality about them so much. I think this is one of their best traits. Mercury and Sagittarius people just have to be careful of distancing themselves when conversations get uncomfortable. When conversations feel uncomfortable, they can want to retract or not want to get into it too much, or they could want to attack too, right? So it's like a fight or flight thing. So they have to just be careful of being reactive, which is true for any sign, to be honest. So, but I really love Mercury and Sagittarius people. I love that they're natural born storytellers and teachers, and they love reading. They love just learning, right? And this is so beneficial. So I hope this helps. Let me know in the comments if this resonated with you. Let me know if you have any aspects to your Mercury, or if you want to explore that more in depth. You can book a reading with me. The link is down below. Moving on to Mercury in Capricorn. Okay, so Mercury and Capricorn people are very direct. They're very honest. They're very to the point. They're very efficient. They want to get things done. They want to get things started. They're bosses, okay? I want to just say that they're bosses. Mercury and Capricorn people, they can be very much, they're so driven. They just want to climb a ladder, no matter what that is. They're just very goal driven, and they're very good at communicating this. They have to be careful of being too stern, being too harsh, being kind of cold in their communication. But I want to say that they have this advantage of having a goal, reaching that goal, feeling accomplished, doing those things, and then also teaching others this too, like how to actually achieve your goals, how to actually have a team, communicate with your team. They're very, very good in this way. They're natural born bosses in this way, and they always want to innovate. They always want to make things efficient. They always want to talk about things that help them grow. And I love this about Mercury and Capricorn people. I also love their integrity. They have a lot of integrity. They can enjoy satire. They can be a bit more bleak in terms of like things that they might enjoy in terms of TV shows, in terms of, you know, they might enjoy horror more so. They like to see the darker side of things because it just fascinates them and really makes them intrigued and interests them. And Mercury and Capricorn people are just very good builders. They're just very good at building what they want, and they're gonna get it because they just know what to do. They map things out very, very well. So I love this about them. Let me know in the comments if you resonate with this. Let me know in the comments like what video you want to see next. Moving on to Mercury and Aquarius. It is such an interesting placement for myself. Mercury and Aquarius people, they are so innovative. They are very conversational. They just want to go really, really in depth into a conversation, but they will take it in a way that you did not expect. They really are the ones who think of the most original ideas. There's a reason why people with Aquarius placements, they want to do things first, and they often do things first. They're innovators. Galileo was an Aquarius, so this is just the energy I get. They're just inventive. They're very much people who want to reinvent the wheel, and they are really seeking that in terms of their conversations, in terms of the people they surround themselves with, their communication. They're good at it. They understand what to do. They understand social norms. They understand societal customs. They understand this, and it comes so easily and naturally to them that it's so intriguing to them to just have conversations with anyone, because in the end, they want to have in-depth conversations. They want to talk about philosophy. They want to talk about art. They want to talk about digital new age things. They want to talk about things that no one else talks about, and they're very, very good at this as well because they like to connect the dots. They like to see the big picture of things and to really reinvent the wheel. So let me know if that resonates with you if you have Mercury and Aquarius. The only thing with people who have Mercury and Aquarius is that I want to say that not everyone will understand Mercury and Aquarius's ideas, and they have to accept that. They have to accept that sometimes they have to do things their own way, but in terms of society, in terms of the people they surround themselves with, if they are so far out there, they kind of have to reel it back in sometimes. That's the only thing I want to say about that, but I love Mercury and Aquarius people because they are pushing society forward. They're so good at this. They're so good at pushing ideas forward, and I really, really admire this about them. So let me know if that resonates with you if you have Mercury and Aquarius. Moving on to Mercury and Pisces. Okay, so Mercury and Pisces people, they are very poetic. They are very soft-spoken. They could have really beautiful voices. They could be very intriguing in terms of where their story goes. You just don't understand where their story is. I think they're very fascinating. I think Mercury and Pisces people, they can just kind of go all over the place in their story, and this is just very intriguing to me personally. They have to be careful of getting too distracted by, you know, outside things or anything in terms of their focus. They could, right? They want to go with the flow so much, but sometimes the flow is daydreaming, right? They're natural born daydreamers. This is a really great quality. I believe so, because they're really good at thinking of solutions or things that other people wouldn't expect. So they would be really good musicians or artists or theatrical people because they can think of something that no one else would have thought of, and it could be in a very beautiful way. They are very artistic in terms of their thinking and communication. They can be very sweet. They can be very loving as well. I think they're very romantic in terms of their thinking and communication. So that's what I love about Mercury and Pisces. They just kind of have to be careful of getting too lost and getting too lost in their own world and not really putting the facts together. But I love Mercury and Pisces people. Let me know in the comments if you resonated with this. So that is it for my Mercury sign video. Let me know in the comments if you resonated with this. And if you didn't, you might need to consider other aspects in terms of your Mercury sign and where it's placed, and if there's any aspects to other planets. If you would like to go more in depth with that, you can book a reading with me. The link for that is down below. And if you are just interested in joining an astrology and art-based community, I have the Moon Sign Creative Community over on Patreon. We host monthly events, we do new moon and full moon events, and we manifest, and we also do a lot of healing rituals as well. So if that interests you, the link for that is down below. We're happy to have you. And thank you so much for watching. Let me know which video you'd like to see next. And I just want to say the universe has your back. And with peace and love, take care. Bye.